From LEGO sets with piece counts that don't even make sense, to minifigures we all know and love, LEGO has something for everyone. But it hasn't been a straight ride up to the top. In their rise to stardom, LEGO has managed to make some pretty embarrassing mistakes along the way. Not only that, but there have been a lot of people out there who have tried to copy LEGO and steal some of their success. In today's video, I'll be going over some of LEGO's best pro moments, along with some of their biggest noob moments. Let's go. Let's kick things off with the Venator class Republic Attack Cruiser set from LEGO Star Wars. Now, obviously this set is extraordinary. It's based on one of the biggest ships from Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and is something that LEGO Star Wars fans had been begging for a really long time. But did you know that there's an off-brand LEGO company that made the set too? And it honestly doesn't even look that bad. This is the Republic Attack Cruiser from a company called Mold King, and it's actually less than half the price of the real ship from LEGO. LEGO prices this set at $650, where Mold King has it sitting at $275, which is way cheaper. Even crazier than this is that the Mold King set has more pieces than the one from LEGO too. It has over 6,600 pieces, and the LEGO set only has 5,374. With all of this in mind, and the fact that the ship actually looks really good, I'd say that this set from Mold King falls into the LEGO Pro category. Well, I guess the Pro off-brand LEGO category? You know what? Let's just call it Pro Brick Building. Now, even though Mold King's Attack Cruiser was way better than LEGO's, that doesn't mean that we can't throw the set from LEGO into the Pro category too. Even if another company was able to make one with more pieces for a better price, we can still appreciate how much work LEGO put into their version. But unfortunately for LEGO, their track record isn't perfect, especially when it comes to LEGO Star Wars. This is the LEGO Technic C-3PO set from 2001, and this thing is honestly just cursed. For reference, this guy is meant to look like this, and instead he ended up looking worse than what his parts were showing in The Phantom Menace. This set only has 341 pieces, which is obviously nowhere near enough. I mean, just look at his face. This is without a doubt one of the worst looking sets LEGO has ever put out, so I have no choice but to put it in the noob category. Okay, I think that's enough hating on LEGO for now. I mean, after all, we're all here because of how much we love LEGO, right? So let's talk about one of the most beloved sets LEGO has ever put out. This is the LEGO Hogwarts set from the Harry Potter theme, and we all know how incredible this set is. Coming in at 6,020 pieces, this set is packed full with references, Easter eggs, and so much more. As a matter of fact, did you know that the piece count for this set is actually a reference to a vintage set from 1993? To understand this reference, there's something about LEGO sets that you have to know. Every single LEGO set that's ever been produced has a number that's used to identify exactly what set it is. Originally, these numbers were only 3 digits long, but as LEGO kept making more sets, they needed to start using bigger numbers. These numbers are printed on the box of every LEGO set. Like for the Hogwarts set, the number is 71043. Now you might be wondering why you needed to know this. Well, it's because the Hogwarts piece count is actually a reference to the Magic Shop set from 1993, one of the first ever LEGO sets to include a wizard. The number for this set is 6020, which matches perfectly with the piece count for the Hogwarts set. This is definitely one of the more subtle Easter eggs in the Hogwarts set. Most of the other ones are references to the movies, like the room with the flying keys from the first movie or the Chamber of Secrets from the second movie. Regardless though, when you combine the piece count, the attention to detail, and the Easter eggs all into one, it makes for an insane LEGO set that definitely deserves to be put in the list of pro moments. But as we all know, LEGO isn't perfect. That's right, it's time for another new moment. This one comes from the LEGO Disney theme, and instead of a LEGO set, it actually has to do with a minifigure. Now, as we all know, regular minifigures have a headpiece that doesn't exactly have a front. The only reason it does is because of where the face is printed, meaning they're typically two-dimensional. So what happens when LEGO adds a third dimension? Well, you get moments like this. Pinocchio is a character with an abnormally long nose, so for his minifigure, LEGO decided to attach a nose piece onto his head. As we can see, sometimes it doesn't go so well. Adding in that third dimension means that LEGO has to be a lot more precise with where faceplates are being printed, and they clearly missed their mark with this one. I don't know about you guys, but this looks like a pretty big noob moment to me. For this next part, I want to talk about one of the coolest sets LEGO has ever released. James Bond's Aston Martin DB5. Now, obviously, I can just say that this car looks super cool and is really accurate to the one from the movies and leave it at that, but that would be super boring. So instead, I'm going to take a deep dive and show you a bunch of different secrets that are hidden throughout the entire set. For starters, there are the license plates on the front and back of the car that can both be turned to reveal a different number, both of which have 4 different options to choose from. Then on the driver's side door, there's a little compartment you can pull down to reveal a secret phone, which technically wasn't in this car in the movies, but is still a cool reference nonetheless. Then if you take a look inside the car, you'll see this giant joystick in between the 2 seats. When you move this thing back and forth, it actually reveals hidden machine guns in the front of the car, which is a sick detail. But that isn't all the inside of the car has to offer. There's also a gearbox that can be turned to reveal the secret tracking screen on the console of the car. If you thought all of those secrets were cool though, they have nothing on this next one. This Lego set has a real ejector seat. That's right. If you pull on the middle of the rear bumper, the sunroof will open and both car seats will go flying out of the top of the car. This is by far one of the coolest features in any Lego set ever, so I have no choice but to add it to the list of pro moments. Okay, I know I just talked about a pro moment, but there's actually another one that I just have to talk about. This is the Lego typewriter, and I know it doesn't look all that cool, but that isn't why it has a spot on the pro list. This Lego set is actually from Lego Ideas. For those of you who don't know, Lego Ideas is a place where fans can submit Lego sets that they made themselves, and if they get enough attention, Lego will put them into production and treat them just like any other Lego set. So that means that this typewriter right here was made by a fan, not some professional engineer Lego hired for the job. If that isn't enough to blow your mind, then how would you react if I told you that this Lego typewriter functions just like a real one? Yeah, I'm being serious. When you press the keys, the arm on top of the typewriter will smack down, just like how it would on a real one. Along with that, every time you press a key, the mechanism that holds the paper slides over, and once it moves all the way to the right, you can slide it back to the left and keep typing. Now, obviously these keys don't actually type the letters that are displayed on them, but regardless, the fact that some random person was able to make this out of Lego pieces is absolutely nuts. So it definitely qualifies as a pro moment in my book. Now, even though Lego can make some insanely cool sets, they can also make some dangerous ones. For this next part, I want to talk about some Lego recalls. Now, luckily for Lego, in the almost 100 years they've been around, they've only ever had to recall 3 products ever, and the last one was all the way back in 2009. These 3 products are the Ladybird Rattle from 1998, the Explorer Super Truck from 2002, and the Power Functions Remote Control from 2009. All 3 of these products had their own separate problems, but the one thing they all had in common was that they could be potentially dangerous. For the Ladybird Rattle, Lego got 3 reports from parents that the rattle had formed a vacuum and got stuck in their child's mouth. In each case, the parents had been able to remove the toy safely and their child was completely fine, which was great. For the Explorer Super Truck, Lego actually didn't receive a single report about anything. They decided to do this one on their own. According to Lego, the wheels can separate from the truck's axles, which are a little pointy and could be potentially hazardous with children. Then finally, the Power Functions Remote Control was also a voluntary recall. For this one, Lego said that they received 4 reports of the remote control heating up after the batteries were installed, but luckily no one was injured in any way. So even though nothing serious came from these recalls, I think it's safe to say that if a product gets recalled, it was probably made by a noob. This next Lego set though is the exact opposite. This is the Millennium Falcon 75105, and even though it isn't giant like the one from the Ultimate Collector series, there are things about this set that set it apart from that crazy expensive one. To start out, this thing only has 1,330 pieces, which could be considered a little noobish, but trust me, it's not. Once it's fully built, you can actually completely open the top of the set to reveal the inside. These panels right here are attached to some very sturdy hinges, so you can open them up and not have to worry about them falling down. Speaking of the inside though, just look at everything that's going on here. Unlike the Millennium Falcon from the Ultimate Collector series, you can build the entire interior of the ship, and it's 100% accurate. They even got the little game that Chewie raged on back in episode 4. You know what they say, guys, let the Wookiee win. No, but in all seriousness, this version of the Millennium Falcon has details that the famous one from the Ultimate Collector series just doesn't have, and for that reason alone, it definitely deserves to be on the list of pro moments. For this next part, I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes Lego's made in their entire career, but to do that, I need to give you some context. Way back in 2005, a show called Avatar: The Last Airbender was aired on Nickelodeon. Almost instantly, the show was a hit. Kids were absolutely in love with everything the show had to offer. Lego took note of this and realized that Nickelodeon and themselves shared a similar audience. They both made stuff for kids, so what better way to make some money than to collaborate? But Avatar: The Last Airbender wasn't the only popular show on Nickelodeon. There was also SpongeBob SquarePants, which now is probably the biggest kids show to have ever existed. Seeing as how both of these shows were extremely popular among kids, Lego and Nickelodeon decided that these were the ones. These were 2 shows that absolutely had to be made into Lego themes, and that's exactly what happened. In June of 2006, both Lego Avatar and Lego SpongeBob were introduced at the same time, with the Lego Krusty Krab set and the Lego Air Temple set. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Minifigured, if both of these shows were so popular, then why was it a mistake to make them into Lego? The answer to that question is that it wasn't. The mistake wasn't the fact that Lego made these shows into Lego. It was the fact that after this, Lego barely made sets for either of these themes. The Avatar theme literally only got one other set in 2006, and not a single one has been made since. The theme was retired in 2007, and even though LEGO SpongeBob lived on until 2013, hardly anything came of it. Only 14 sets were released in the 7 years LEGO SpongeBob was around. That's an average of 2 sets per year, which is super bad. In my opinion, LEGO sold a huge bag by deciding to stop production for these themes. I mean, the Air Temple set is up 2,000% in price since it dropped back in 2006. I don't know, maybe I'm alone on this, but in my opinion, this is definitely one of LEGO's biggest new moments ever. Alright, I think I was a little harsh just now, so why don't I end the video off on a good note. This is the LEGO Titanic, and it is without a doubt one of the biggest pro moments LEGO has ever had. Coming in at over 9,000 pieces, this thing is absolutely massive. I mean, it's literally over 4 feet long. Now, even though the outside of the ship is super impressive, there's a secret about this thing you wouldn't know about unless you built it yourself. Unless, of course, you watched it on YouTube or something. Once the ship is fully built, there are 2 locks that can be removed from the top of the ship. Once these locks are out, you can actually split the ship into 3 different parts and take a look at the inside. This is an insane detail that's really nice to have, because without it, there's no way we can see the inside of this thing. Once the ship is split into the 3 parts though, we can see just how much effort was put into making the interior. I mean, it's actually just unbelievable. There's way too much going on here for me to just describe. So I think I'll just end it by saying that this is definitely making it onto the list of pro moments. What was your favorite moment in this video? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.